What's up, guys? It's X-Rays and welcome to a brief history of the Call of Duty Zombies. A lot of you guys don't know what the story is all about, and you guys basically just play the game and don't know exactly what's going on. So with Die Rise just around the corner, I wanted to make a brief video, or maybe it's not going to be brief because the story is pretty long, but a video talking about what exactly the story is behind Call of Duty Zombies. A lot of people don't know the story. They basically play the game, they have a lot of fun, and they don't exactly know what exactly happened, how the outbreak happened, and just basically what went on behind the scenes of the multiplayer maps that everybody played. So we're going to jump straight into it, guys. If you guys enjoy this series, remember to subscribe to my channel. This is probably going to be a multi-part series. And also, if you guys are enjoying it, slap a like on this video. It shows me that you guys are enjoying it. So let's jump straight into the story for you guys that are unaware as to what happened. Dr. Ludwig Maxis, or we're just going to call him Dr. Maxis, and his scientist team, Group 935, were tasked with creating an army of super soldiers and new technology for the government project christened Der Reis, or the Giant. In his experiments, Maxis found element 115 to create the zombies. The zombies, however, couldn't be controlled and would always be killed when they went berserk. While this was going on, Dr. Edward Richtofen was testing 115 on living test subjects to create his super soldier at a Siberian facility, or Veruk. In his experiments, Richtofen used Takio Masaki, Nikolai, and an unknown Mexican. When Richtofen accidentally killed the Mexican, he replaced him with Tank Dempsey. Dempsey had recently been captured when he went to spy on the asylum to rescue Dr. Peter McCain, an OSS spy sent to infiltrate Group 935. After being captured, a Marine recon team was sent in after him to the abandoned asylum. Richtofen, however, already suspected Peter McCain, along with Harvey Yenna, and the team was killed. The testing affected each of the subjects' mind, making Dempsey extremely aggressive, quieting Takio into only reciting Japanese proverbs, and making Nikolai functionless without vodka. It also had the side effect of erasing their recent memories, making them forget how Richtofen captured them and what they did to them. Maxis also invented 115 powered teleporters. They would always destroy anything sent through them. Also, these experiments were done with his assistant Dr. Richtofen. Without Maxis, Richtofen and Schuster would complete the first successful teleportation with a walnut using a very small amount of element 115. When Maxis found out about this, he criticized Richtofen for not working on his project and that teleporting a walnut wasn't a big deal. Maxis then told Richtofen that he was going to make a deal with the Nazi party for money and equipment in exchange for weapons. These new weapons Group 935 created were also powered by element 115. Maxis created the ray gun based on plans received from Shinonuma. Richtofen created the monkey bomb and the Wunderwaffe DG2 from element 115 as well. Maxis promised to mass produce the DG2 to his superiors, but his growing infatuation with Sophia slowed down his progress and infuriated Richtofen, who was secretly plotting to overthrow him and take control of Group 935. Richtofen continued his teleporter tests with Schuster behind Maxis' back. Richtofen was the first human test subject and was first sent to MPD, which he believed to be an alien of alien origin. For you guys that don't know, MPD is based on Moon. So the map Moon, there's this sort of pyramid looking object, and it's the MPD which controls basically the zombies. When he touched it, he felt static and started hearing whispers. He was then teleported to a jungle, or for people that don't know the map, which is Shangri-La. He was teleported there. Dr. Schuster got worried and planned to scrap the teleporter when Richtofen had been gone for a few days. But he returned as Schuster was talking about it and told him that there was work to be done. Richtofen sounded much crazier, and Schuster noticed his change. Two Group 935 scientists, Dr. Grove and Dr. Schuster, were stationed at the moon base and were trying to figure out how to work the MPD. When Schuster killed a rat, its soul was absorbed by a glass vial protruding from the machine. The pair then proceeded to kill many people until the device was filled with souls. The bodies were buried on the moon, leaving them open to zombification. When they finished, they contacted Richtofen, who told them that he was going to finally get rid of Dr. Maxis and his daughter, indicating that the two scientists were aware of this scheme. So anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this part of the story for Call of Duty Zombies. If you are enjoying it so far, remember to subscribe to my channel and also stay up to date with all these informations. Leave a like on the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next, we're gonna jump straight into how the Hellhounds were created and basically how Samantha took over the zombies. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, slap a like, and I'm X-Rays them out. Peace. What's up guys, it's X-Rays and welcome to part 2 of the zombie story. A lot of you guys really enjoyed the first part and I'm really happy for the feedback you guys gave me, and so I appreciate that. We're going to continue this story for you guys. If you guys are new to my channel, this is just a short series I'm doing because a lot of people play zombies and they don't know what the story is behind it. They just play and it's a really fun game mode to play, but you know, there's actually a story behind what exactly happened, why it happened, why the events transpired, and you know, so we're gonna go from the very beginning, which I did in part 1. We're gonna continue this story, and we're gonna eventually end up on a green run or a transit mode, which you're watching right now in the gameplay. And you know, eventually, once Die Rise comes out on the 29th, we're gonna continue the story, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So sit back, relax. You know, if you guys are enjoying the series, slap a like on the video. So, anyways, Dr. Richtofen tells these people that he is going to kill, which is the two doctors that are up on the moon, which are Dr. Groff and Dr. Schuster, that he's going to kill Dr. Maxis. So while this is happening, before this even happens, Richtofen and Maxis are still basically working together. You know, Richtofen hasn't let Maxis know that he is going to kill him. He's not, you know, he hasn't shown any kind of sign as to what exactly is happening. Now, unbeknownst to Dr. Maxis, who was still working on the teleportation device, Richtofen already knew how to use the teleportation device. He already had mastered how to use it, but Dr. Maxis was still having trouble with it. Dr. Maxis was getting frustrated that he could not send a subject to the mainframe, and he used his daughter. This is how the whole, you know, Hellhounds happened. He was so frustrated that he used Samantha's dog Fluffy as a teleporter test subject, and once again he failed. So the dog was teleported, but instead of being destroyed like past test subjects, so you know, Dr. Maxis was sending different items to the teleporter and they were all getting destroyed. Instead of Samantha's dog Fluffy dying, he ended up coming back zombified. So he was actually the very first Hellhound. While this was happening, Samantha came running into the room and started questioning her dad about what was happening with their dog, and Dr. Maxis was basically explaining that, you know, that wasn't her dog anymore, and he tried to stop her and try to get her out of the room. While this was happening, Richtofen, who was also there at watching this whole testing and everything, followed through with his previously planned betrayal, and he locked Dr. Maxis and his daughter in the room with the Hellhound. He then activated the teleporter. He thought that they were killed by the teleporter. Again, the teleporter that Dr. Maxis is using was defective, it was destroying everything. But he didn't know, little did Richtofen know, that Max's teleporter actually worked that one time. It ended up sending Samantha to the moon base, and he was basically sent somewhere else. So Dr. Maxis was sent somewhere else. Samantha, while she was on the moon, she ran into the MPD and became the one to control the zombies. So she was sent into a chronogenic state and she was in control of the zombies. When Richtofen was informed of what had occurred, he warned the pair of scientists about the Hellhound and then told them to find a way to get Maxis. They did end up finding Maxis, and they let him approach his daughter and the MPD, and Maxis then proceeded to apologize to Samantha. He was telling her that he was sorry about everything that had happened. But instead of doing what they wanted him, they wanted basically him to tell Samantha to get out of the teleporter, try to get her out of there. I mean, not out of the teleporter, but in the MPD, to try to have Richtofen take over it. What ended up happening was that he told Samantha to kill everybody from group 935 so for betraying him. So he told them, you know, unleash all these zombies, kill all these bastards from Group 935 for what they did to both of us. Dr. Max's event gets shot because of what he says, and then Samantha proceeds to fulfill her father's request, and she unleashes the entire zombies basically on Group 935, all these people. So the zombies are on the loose, and this is basically how, you know, the very first maps where zombies are swarming everywhere, this is how it happens, because it is Samantha who does, you know, all these little things to destroy Group 935. So anyways, what ends up happening right after that is that Richtofen retreats with his super soldiers to Shinonuma to think things through. So just give me a picture up for you guys to check as well. When the zombie attacks, you know, when they start happening, Richtofen realizes that Samantha will stop at nothing to seek revenge. Richtofen plans to recover all the equipment and take control of the zombies, so, you know, he's still going insane, he's still going crazy, and then he takes the group to Darice. So first of all, they go to Shinonuma, and then they go to Darice. Again, you know, this is where you guys can imagine the whole gameplay of the zombies trying to get in, which had been abandoned since the zombie takeover. Again, you know, Samantha was, you know, trying to destroy everybody in Group 935, not just Richtofen, but anybody who was associated with it. So by that time, the zombies had overrun Darice. Richtofen goes to Darice, which was abandoned. And then the group used the Wunderwaffe DG2, which was created by Dr. Richtofen, that was to overcharge the teleporter. So they used the Wunderwaffe DG2, the element 115 that was within it, to overcharge the teleporter, making it capable of traveling in time. Richtofen was apparently unaware of this possibility until he tried it, so he ended up using the element 115 on the teleporter with the Wunderwaffe DG2, and it ended up sending them to the theater, or Kino der Toten for some of you guys that know. That is my favorite map, by the way, for you guys. It's my favorite zombie map of all time. So basically, they travel in time. They are sent to an abandoned theater in Germany that is on an unknown year. Nobody knows. And although he didn't know what year it was, Dr. Richtofen knew that that theater was the place that Dr. Maxis was going to unveil the teleporter to the high commanders of Germany. But since Dr. Maxis was killed, the theater was abandoned. And you know, so anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this mini story series so far. If you guys are, remember to slap a like on this. Next time we will continue with the story for you guys, and you guys are hopefully enjoying this series. If you are, slap that like button, leave a favorite, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Xers, out. Peace. What's up, guys? It's X-Rays, and welcome to a new episode of the Call of Duty Zombies story. If you guys have not seen the first two episodes, which you probably should since you guys won't understand what exactly is going on, I'm going to leave links down in the description below for you guys to check out the first two episodes of Call of Duty Zombies story. So if you guys don't know what the story is and you guys want to know and get a quick refresher before you jump into this one, go ahead and watch that before you get to this one. But anyways, now that we got that out of the way, quick recap as to what happened in the last episode. We left off with Richtofen, Tank Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takiao all arriving at Kino der Toten, which is the Theater of the Dead. And basically, it's a movie theater. Well, not a theater. It's just a basically huge theater where Dr. Richtofen and Dr. Maxis were going to unveil the teleporter for the first time. But since Dr. Maxis was dead, it was abandoned, it was all destroyed, and they don't exactly know what time it is, you know, the actual time frame, what year it is. So but in order to continue this story, guys, to get to the next spot, we're going to talk about a different character and his involvement and what happens next. So sometime prior to the character's arrival at Ascension, Yuri was transferred to work on sending monkeys into space, much to his dismay. His transfer was caused by his superior Gersh, who holds a grudge against him. So basically, this scientist Yuri is sent to work, you know, on sending monkeys to space, which is the ones that you see on the map Moon, obviously. And so Gersh sends him to do this, and you can hear it in radio messages if you guys want to, if you guys have ever played that map. But anyways, Yuri notices that the teddy bear and the dolls that are on the moon, and he notices, who would be doing this, and basically he slowly starts to go insane, and he continues to work on the Gersh device, which is that device that you use that attracts all the zombies and everything. It's kind of like the monkey bomb, only it kind of forces and drags all the zombies in. If you guys played map, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so he creates the device, he completes it, and then he activates it, and he traps Gersh in it. So he lets in the zombies and he traps Gersh. Yuri soon realizes his mistake, so he has this like one moment of clarity, and he realizes what he's done, and he starts screaming, and this is the last thing that you hear in the recording from Moon. So now that we got that out of the way, Gersh is trapped. And what exactly happens next after this? After the events of Kino der Toten, the main characters, Richtofen, Nikolai, Takiao, and Tank Dempsey, somehow reach an abandoned Soviet cosmodrome, which is basically Ascension. So they reach this map. The characters then hear Gersh, who tells them that the mechanism must be repaired, and he's referring to the Casimir mechanism, which must be repaired by completing different tasks. After all of the tasks are completed and the mechanism is repaired, Gersh is freed. So this is a Easter egg that you could do on Ascension, and if you guys completed it, Gersh would be freed. While the events of Ascension are occurring in Russia, the events of 5 are also unfolding in the Pentagon. A piece of intel reveals that all Wunderwaffe materials were to be moved to American-controlled installations. So all the Wunderwaffe materials had to be moved over to this installation, the American-controlled installation, so they could keep it under control. Anyway, so while John F. Kennedy, Robert Fidel, and Richard Nixon are negotiating, zombies break into the Pentagon with only the 4 of them left to fight. While fighting, they call Dempsey, Takiao, Nikolai, and Richtofen using 3 red telephones spread across to the Pentagon. Their calls show that they are running out of ammo and will soon be defeated. So, both of these things are happening at the same time. Richtofen and Nikolai and all these guys are on the map Ascension. They're trying to get this mechanism, the Casimir mechanism, working. And while that's going on, the president, Richard Nixon, Castro, and Robert McNamara, I don't know how you say his name, but basically they're all kind of going at the same time, and it is believed that they are running out of ammo. People don't know what's going on. As they continue fighting, the 3 super soldier test subjects slowly regain their memories. Takiao is the first one to remember and remarks to himself that someday when the group is finished fighting zombies, Richtofen will get what he deserves. He also shows his observations of the other 2. He believes Nikolai drinks vodka because he wishes to forget the past and can't function when he remembers it, perhaps meaning Nikolai is beyond hope. Tank, on the other hand, is slowly making progress as he remembers that he'd seen Richtofen before the night of Shinonuma. Takiao notes his shifting memories and believes Tank is finally remembering what Richtofen did to him. So anyways, we're going to leave off here for you guys now. Basically, this is a really interesting story. So we went from Kino der Toten, they're working on Ascension. At the same time of these events, Richard Nixon and all these other guys are on the map 5, or then the Pentagon trying to survive zombies. So that's where we're going to leave off. Next, we're going to talk about what happens in Call of the Dead, how that plays into the story, since a lot of people kind of thought it was kind of weird that Call of the Dead was there and there were different characters and stuff. So hopefully it doesn't get too confusing for you guys. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Call of Duty Zombies Story, or the Call of Duty Zombie History. If you guys did, remember to slap a like on this video, and of course remember to subscribe for the rest of this story. We're going to try to get this done before the Die Rise map comes out on the 29th. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'm Axios, I'm out. Peace. What's up, guys? It's X-Rays, and welcome to a new episode, or part 4 of the Zombies Storyline. A lot of you guys have been giving a lot of great feedback on this. But anyways, guys, so let's continue this story. A quick recap as to what happened in the last episode. We touched bases with what happened on 5 and Ascension and how they intertwined together, and how basically they were happening at the same time. Moving on from there, today we're actually going to be talking about what exactly happens in the Call of the Dead map, because it continues right after that. And so let's just jump straight into it for you guys. Sometime in the present, George A. Romero stumbled upon Group 935's research while making a World War II film. He and the cast took a ship out to an abandoned lab in Siberia. After he and the ship's crew were zombified, only the cast made up of Sarah, Robert, Danny, and Michael remained. this set the stage for Call of the Dead. So first of all, I want to mention a lot of people really hated the fact that the 4 main protagonists from the other previous maps weren't here, and they were kind of like, what the hell's going on? You know, it's kind of like the way that people feel, you know, about Transit and this new map style. You know, everybody likes the old characters, and, you know, sometimes it's for the good, sometimes it's for the bad, I don't know, but, you know, it's just the way it is. After the Casimir mechanism was completed in Ascension, it overloaded the teleporter and sent the original characters to a Group 935 facility in Siberia, where they were trapped behind a locked door. So again, you know, the teleporter was overcharged, and it was sending them back into the future once again. As we all know, I talked about how originally the 4 main protagonists were sent to the abandoned theater Kino der Toten, and now after they have completed this mechanism on Ascension, they were sent once again, and this time they are locked up on the map Call of the Dead, and it's how the protagonists, the new 4, you know, Sarah, Robert, Danny, and Michael come to find them. The celebrities then proceeded to help them escape to paradise. Richtofen asked the celebrities to help him obtain the golden rod, which they did. Richtofen thanks the group by giving them the DG2 to help them fight off the zombies. In reality, the group could have escaped after the security system was disabled. It is unknown what became of the celebrities after helping the group escape. Anyway, so once they escape from Call of the Dead, from that room that they were locked in, Shangri-La, however, does not live up to its name, as its inhabitants have been all zombified before the group's arrival. Richtofen now states that this is the last step to controlling the world before he is teleported there. The temple houses a mining facility filled with element 115, explaining the inhabitants' zombification. So, after they get there, element 115 is there. All of the inhabitants of the area have been kind of taken over by zombies because of the element 115. Prior to the group's arrival to Shangri-La, 2 explorers, Brock and Gary, went on an expedition to prove their theories on Argatha. Brock later figures out that the temple wasn't built by an ancient civilization, but by the people in the modern era interpreting it. After investigating the temple, the pair accidentally activated the temple's time travel and died in the resulting zombie attack. The group travels back in time and helps the pair survive. The pair's changing fate is illustrated by the radio that changes messages and locations as the group helps them. When the group finally creates a focusing stone, it lands on an altar with Richtofen's name on it, meaning the temple was in fact another Group 935 facility, and explaining Richtofen's knowledge of its location. The 2 explorers are then sent back to the moment they discovered the temple, indicating that they are stuck in a never-ending loop. So again, Shangri-La was a facility that was built by Group 935. If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, I talk about this in a previous episode of the Zombies Storyline about how Shangri-La came into play and how Richtofen got there. But the whole point of them being there was that Richtofen wanted to get the focusing stone in order for him to complete his story. Now in possession of both the golden rod and focusing stone, Richtofen believes that he can control the zombies. The group then travels to Area 51 so they can get to the moon via a teleporter to a top-secret moon facility named Griffin Station. When the group reaches Area 51, it is already overrun due to the element 115 on the moon. Astronauts and scientists sent there to be zombified before the group's arrival. The people killed by Groff and Schuster contributed even more to the zombies' horde. Richtofen then has the group complete the MPD. When the device is completed, it opens up to reveal Samantha Maxis suspended in the air. As it turns out, the device acts like a prison and keeps her cryogenically frozen so that she can be used to control the zombies. Richtofen goes to a terminal to power up the golden rod and the focusing stone, which he fuses together. However, he encounters Dr. Maxis inside the terminal, who tries to stop him. Richtofen switches souls with Samantha to gain control of the zombies. Richtofen finally thinks everything has gone his way until Takeo, Tank, and Nikolai decide to stop him. Dr. Maxis, sensing Richtofen's betrayal, prepared a backup plan in case Richtofen got this far. The group then fires the missiles located on the moon, which destroys the Earth's atmosphere. Richtofen is now in control of the zombies on the moon, greatly lessening the damage he could cause. Dr. Maxis fires missiles at the Earth, you know, and this is where you see the whole Nuketown zombies, and, you know, basically where Transit is coming up next. It's going to be the very next part of the Zombies Storyline. I hope you guys enjoyed today's part 4. If you did, remember to slap a like on this video, and of course remember to go back and watch all the previous episodes if you guys don't know what exactly is going on. And if you guys are watching this on another channel, remember to stop by my channel, youtube.com/OGXrays, for the rest of this storyline. I'm going to try to get it done before Die Rise comes out, and then you know, we'll continue the story from Die Rise. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to slap a like on this video, leave a comment down below on what do you guys think of this story so far, what's your favorite part, and yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm actually out. Peace. What's up guys, it's X-Rays and welcome to a new episode of the Call of Duty Zombies story. Today we're going to be covering Nuketown Zombies along with Green Run or Transit, whichever way you like to call it. This is part 5 of the Zombies story, so if you guys want to check out the other 4 parts, the link to the 4th part is going to be down in the description, or you can go to my videos on my channel and just check those out. I would suggest you check those out before you start on this one, since the story is quite long, and if you did miss any parts or if you don't know what's going on, you're not exactly going to know where we are at or what exactly is going on. Now that we got that out of the way, we're going to start and jump right into it. We're going to start off with Nuketown Zombies. Nuketown Zombies actually happens during the events of Moon. So for you guys that need a quick recap as to what happened on Moon, basically at this point it's Richtofen's grand scheme. He's trying to get control of the zombies, and this is actually quite visible during the gameplay that you guys are watching. When you start playing Nuketown Zombies, as you can tell, all the zombies, their eyes are all yellow. But as you start playing and you start progressing and you get further up in rounds, you notice that the zombies' eyes turn blue. A lot of people were thrown off when Nuketown Zombies came out because of the fact that Nuketown Zombies had yellow eyes, while the people who were playing on Transit, who were playing on Green Run, saw that the zombies had blue eyes. And they never really understood the connection between that. If you are a zombie noob and don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of people were really confused when the trailer for Nuketown Zombies and the trailer for Transit came out, because first of all, everybody was used to zombies having yellow eyes. It was the way that it was back in World at War, back in Black Ops, the original zombies that was in Black Ops, all the maps, because at that point Samantha Maxis was the one who was in control of the zombies. Now once you get into Transit, you get into Green One, you notice that all their eyes are blue because at this point Richtofen is in control of the zombies. It's after Richtofen gets control on the moon and he's stuck on the moon, he switched bodies, or he switched souls really, with Samantha. So when people started playing Nuketown Zombies and they noticed that their eyes were yellow, they were in for quite a treat. The Easter egg in this one is the fact that as you're playing, as you're getting further along in the rounds, you can hear Samantha at first while picking up power-ups, and then later on you hear them discussing, you hear the events that are transpiring on the moon, and eventually you see that the zombies' eyes turn blue, indicating that Richtofen has taken full control. Now the playable characters in Nuketown Zombies are the CDC and the CIA, both of which showed up after the events of the nuke that went off in the multiplayer map. So anybody who played Nuketown originally on Black Ops knows that after the game is over, the nuke goes off and you can see the nuke go off and then everything gets destroyed. Basically, after the nuke goes off in the multiplayer itself, this is what happens in Nuketown Zombies. This is the events after that. You can see the mushroom cloud and the zombies and everything are all because of the radiation and basically everybody getting killed. And that's why you see the CDC, little kind of CDC kind of guys, zombies and everything, because these are guys who were there experimenting, or they were there to check out the results of what had happened after the nuke went off, and that's why you're killing those guys. So you're technically either a CDC or a CIA when playing on this map. There's really no other story to this. There are several Easter eggs, including Marlton being inside of the bomb shelter. You can hear his voice whenever you knife the bomb shelter. So if you guys haven't actually heard or seen any of that, if you go to the back of the map and you knife the little bomb shelter, the nuclear bomb shelter that you go, you can hear Marlton's voice. There's really no indication as to why he's in there. He talks about being banished, but no one really knows exactly what is going on or what's it even about. So anyways, leaving from that, there's really no story really behind Nuketown Zombies. All it is the CDC going to check it out and then fighting off hordes of zombies after the nuclear bomb goes off. Anyway, so since the events of Nuketown happened while the events of Moon happened, this also indicates that Nuketown happened before Transit or Green Run. Now we can move over to Green Run and talk about that. Sometime before Marlton, Misty, Samuel, and Russman arrive at Washington, the CIA and CDC arrive to fight off the zombies at the bus depot, farm, and town. Now the reason that we know this is because when you play Grief, you can tell that both sides are there. Basically, what happens is that in Washington, which is Green Run / Transit, whatever you want to call it, this is when the CIA and the CDC appear there, and then they start fighting off the zombies, and then shortly after that, that is when we are introduced to the 4 new characters that we see in transit mode, which are Marlton, Abigail, Misty, Samuel, and Russman, who attempt to survive in Washington. Now there's really no story behind as to what is going on, why are they there. All we do know is that Misty knows who Russman is, and there's really kind of like a weird relationship going on between them. Russman likes Samuel, and Marlton has a fondness for Abigail or Misty, and they both kind of like each other. It's kind of insisted upon it. But there's really no indication as to how they met each other. All we do know is that they're trying to survive in Washington, and that there's a few strange things going on. First of all, Russman is dressed like a hobo. He's got a sneaker in one foot, he's got a boot in the other. He apparently knows Abigail. There's no reason as to how they know each other. There just kind of is insisted that they know each other. Another thing that is known is that Misty, both her parents were killed by zombies, and you know, there's really no story behind what is going on transit. Apart from the fact that Misty, Samuel, Marlton, and Russman are trying to survive, there's really no indication as to what is the continuation of the story. There are several Easter eggs that are in the game that you notice yourself. There's 2 Easter eggs. The biggest one is the Tower of Babel, which is basically where you decide to either follow Dr. Max's orders or Richtofen's orders, which are apparently going to be linked to this next DLC, Die Rise, and the continuation of that Easter egg. Another thing that we do know from this is that Samuel is the only one who can hear Richtofen's voice. It's a little strange. There's really no indication as to why that is. Some say that he has some kind of, you know, schizophrenia, and that's the only reason he can hear Richtofen. There's really no indication as to if Samuel has some kind of link to Richtofen or any of their previous lives. Some people speculate that Marlton is the next one who's gonna kind of take over the zombies and do everything, but again, there's no indication, there's no story behind the whole thing. So technically, Transit / Green Run is kind of like this filler. There's nothing really going on. All we do know is that they're trying to either help out Dr. Max's or help out Richtofen. I have a theory that both of them are trying to reach the Earth again, since, you know, Tower of Babel was originally, you know, this whole story about how they tried to build this tower to try to get to heaven. In this case, I think Tower of Babel signifies that they're trying to get to the moon, or that Richtofen is trying to find some way to get access back to the Earth to get full control. Again, because Dr. Max has had that backup plan that where he shot the missiles at the Earth, and this is how the Earth was all destroyed and everything, to try to weaken the powers of Richtofen. So, depending on which Easter egg, it's going to be continued in Die Rise. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed part 5 of the Zombies story. If you guys did, remember to slap a like on this video, remember to leave a favorite, and of course leave a comment down below. What do you guys think of the story so far? Have you guys been understanding it? If you have, you know, hopefully you have. It's a little strange, it's a pretty weird story. And if you guys are new and you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and watch the other previous episodes. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. There's probably going to be a part 6 where I talk about the events of Die Rise, but as for now, there's going to be nothing until the story is completely revealed. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Extras, I'm out. Peace. What's up, guys? It's X-Rays, and welcome to episode 6 of the Call of Duty Zombies Storyline. If you guys missed episode 5, go ahead and check down in the description below. I'm going to have a link to episode 5 for you guys to check that one out. This is a very long and confusing story, so if you guys missed one of the parts, chances are if you start hearing all about this one, you're going to be confused, you won't know what's going on. So I would suggest you guys go check it out. If you missed any of the parts as well, I'll have a link down in the description as well to the entire playlist, so you guys can check out part 1 through 5 so you guys can get caught up before you start on this one. So go check that out if you missed it, and if not, we can jump straight into it. Anyways, guys, if you guys are enjoying this series, remember to slap a like, guys. Let's try to go for 150 likes on this video. And if I see you guys are still enjoying this series, which a lot of you guys are at the moment, you guys keep leaving me comments, where's part 6, which here it is, then we'll see part 7 once the next map pack comes out. So anyways, what exactly happens in Die Rise. Where is it? When does it happen? How do you get there? All of this stuff I'm going to answer, so let's jump straight into it, guys. Die Rise is located in Shanghai, China. It features the same characters from Green Run, so it's actually a continuation, with the 4 characters, of course, being Samuel, Russman, Misty, and Marlton. Die Rise takes place within 2 skyscrapers, and although it is 2, it actually feels like you're within 3 buildings. The reason being that one of the skyscrapers actually broke in half and landed on top of another. That one actually came out upside down, as you guys are seeing in the room. The new crew is actually teleported to Die Rise by Richtofen, which is something new that we learned. Richtofen apparently has the power to teleport the entire crew, and on top of that, it seems that Richtofen actually has the power to teleport them through time as well. This is not a far-fetched idea that Richtofen is able to make the crew travel through space and time. The reason being that when Richtofen was a playable character, using the teleporter he was able to travel not only across the world into different places, but he was also able to travel through time, being seen when he traveled to Kino der Toten, which was actually in the future from where he was before. The crew is teleported to Die Rise and are told that they must accept their fate and begin anew. Something that lets us know that Richtofen is not only able to bend space, but time as well. Another clue that we have that Die Rise actually takes place in the future is the fact that some of the zombies wear a uniform which you can actually see on the SDC, which was an organization from Asia. And this doesn't take place till 2025 if you follow the campaign in Black Ops 2. Another clue as to what time this period might be is a picture on the wall in the PDW room which shows here since 1996. So what we can draw is that Die Rise either takes place near 2025, but certainly after 1996, although there is no specific date. The reason that Richtofen made the new crew travel to Die Rise is because he wants to continue his plan in order to restore communication with the Earth, something that Dr. Maxis was able to stop when he sent rockets to the Earth and destroyed the atmosphere, thereby rendering Richtofen a little bit less powerful and a little weaker when it came to being able to control the zombies. So the players are actually teleported to Die Rise and are told to restore the connection, which is what you do when you're able to turn on the power to the tower that is seen over by the dragons. While playing on the map, you're also come in contact with Dr. Maxis as well. He also tells you that he wants to restore communication with the Earth, and also tells you to do an Easter egg, although a little bit different. He asks you if you can also restore communication using the tower that Richtofen wants to use. Something else that we learn in Die Rise is that there are other survivors apart from the crew that Richtofen is controlling and talking to. This group, apparently known as the Flesh, have resorted to eating zombies due to starvation. This can be heard in several radio messages that can be heard on the TV, or they're actually transmissions, which talk about them eating the zombies because of lack of food or because of hunger.
Science has failed us. He has abandoned us. In this new world, we alone are your salvation. We alone can light the way. Hear our words. Heed our call. There is but one path to enlightenment. Just as they would consume us, we must consume them. We are the living, and we are the dead. We are the flesh, and the flesh is us. We will not starve. We will thrive.
We also learned through transmissions that the infection has actually started to spread even through the air, meaning that just about anybody is infected just by breathing in.
Attention all on this channel. This is George Barkley, former Assistant Director of the CDC facility in Druid Hills, Georgia. Prior to the destruction of our headquarters, our research found evidence that contaminants are now infecting the very air we breathe. As such, exposure of some sort appears inevitable for all survivors.
There's also a woman who mentions that she has lost contact with a German voice in her head, insinuating that either Richtofen or Dr. Maxis came in contact with them as well, so we might even see them in a future DLC. That's pretty much it for the story, guys. There's really nothing else behind this. Richtofen sent the crew to Die Rise to continue the story, although there is a little bit of tidbit of information, a little bit of a trivia thing, and the fact that Great Leap Forward was an initiative that China started in order to try to industrialize China in the 1960s. The project was an epic failure and millions of lives were lost, which could possibly be the zombies that you see on this map. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of the Call of Duty Zombies Storyline. If you did, remember to slap a like on this video. Let's try to go for 150 likes. And also remember to leave a favorite if you really enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing part 7 once the new map pack comes out with the new zombie story. And we'll continue from there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys are new, remember to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/OGXrays, to stay up to date with this story. I'm going to be popping it out a little bit faster this time. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm XPays, I'm out. Peace. What's up, guys? It's X-Rays, and welcome to part 7 of the Zombie Storyline. You guys have really been enjoying the series, and as soon as Mob of the Dead came out on the 16th, people were leaving comments on my video saying when is part 7 going to come out, and I was giving it a little bit of time. I kind of wanted to make sure that the whole story was out and that we knew everything about the characters, because there's a lot of information, people that were posting information about it, and I just decided not to include the other stuff. There's people who are saying that, well, I'll talk about it a little bit more into the video, but I didn't want to make a video that had false information in it or that was incomplete information, and I hope you guys understand that. It's the only reason that I haven't posted part 7. So, thank you for all the comments, thank you for all the concern. You guys have been really loving this series and are constantly telling me to upload part 7. The only sad thing about the series is that as soon as I upload this video, it's gonna be like 3 or 4 months before we see part 8, because the next map won't come out, you know, for another 3 months. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. I'm thinking about doing maybe like custom zombie stories or something. I don't know, you know, but it's just something I wanted to talk about. Anyway, so let's jump straight into the story. Before I do, really quickly though, if you guys have not seen any of the first 1 through 6 parts, I would recommend that you guys go check it out, because this is a very long story, and up to this point you guys are probably don't understand how the hell any of this came to be. So before you guys watch this one, if you have not seen any of the parts from 1 through 6, go watch it, come back, watch this one. So if you guys have already watched it, let's jump straight into it. Anyway, so Mob of the Dead actually has its own backstory before we jump into the zombie part of the story. So if you guys paid attention to the cutscene that comes out when you play solo, it tells you a little bit about each one of the new protagonists that are in Mob of the Dead. And the new protagonists are Salvador DeLuca, Billy Handsome, Michael Finolari, and Al the Weasel Arlington. All of these are mobsters. This map actually takes place during the Prohibition era in America, which, if you guys don't know what the Prohibition era, it was the era where alcohol was basically banned. No one could buy alcohol, nobody could drink alcohol. During this time is when we saw all of the monsters, is when we saw, you know, people reminiscent of Al Capone and all of that kind of stuff. So this map actually takes place during that time, and of the 4 protagonists, the one that is kind of like the highest up in the mobs is Salvador DeLuca. He's basically like this mob boss, and he has 2 people that worked for him, which was Billy Handsome and Al the Weasel Arlington. So both of these guys kind of work for him, and Michael Finolari was kind of this other guy who got in trouble for doing gambling. He had a lot of fraud going in gambling, and his own wife was the one who kind of testified against him, and he got screwed over and went to Alcatraz. So anyways, what ends up happening is all 4 of these guys are in Alcatraz, and they are sentenced there for quite a while. There's no mention as to how much time they had to stay in Alcatraz, but the point is that they're in Alcatraz. And what ends up happening is that Al Arlington, we're just going to refer to him as Al from now on, Al gets this crazy idea in his head that they're all going to try to escape from the island. They're all going to, you know, they come up with an escape plan, and the escape plan being they're going to build a plane and they're going to fly off the island. So it's a really crazy idea, it's a really crazy plan, and honestly it's a plan that, you know, we are surprised, we as the viewers of this kind of story are surprised to find out that the rest of the crew actually went along with it. They were saying that Al was the kind of person who could convince anyone of anything. He was like the kind of cheater who could cheat a cheater, as it says in the actual intro. So he kind of told the other guys, hey, we're gonna build a plane, we're gonna get off this island, we're gonna get away from here. And so basically, they all go in, they all start talking about the things they're going to need, they all start planning it out. But what ends up happening is that they all start kind of fighting amongst each other over what they're going to do. Their plans start kind of breaking apart, they start getting really angry, and what ends up happening is that they decide that they're not going to do the plan. The plan just completely breaks apart. And they eventually get angry at Al for, you know, basically coming up with this plan, this stupid idea that they thought was never going to work. They tried it, and so they get really frustrated, they get really angry at him. And so what ends up happening is Salvatore, Billy Handsome, and Finn, they all decide that they each kind of make their own makeshift weapons, you know, spoons or you know, shanks or whatever the hell you want to refer to them. They make makeshift weapons, and they decide that they're going to, you know, lure Al to the roof of the prison. So what ends up happening is they tell him, hey, let's go to the roof. They all go to the roof, and the three of them end up killing Al. So they kill Al, and once the prison guards and everyone finds out about what happened, all three of them are sentenced to death via, you know, getting electrocuted in the electrical chair. So they all end up dying. That's the story. They end up all dying. And then what happens is, once the zombie aspect of the story comes into it, is they wake up to find, you know, they thought they were dead, and then they find out that they're back on Alcatraz, but they see zombies everywhere. And so the thing is, if you pay attention to the game while you're playing it, Al kind of seems to know what's going on. Again, if you guys, referring back to the first story where the three of them killed Al, he has already been in this kind of weird zombie place a little longer than them, because he was killed first. He was killed by the three of them, and then they later came into this weird zombie world after they were electrocuted. So Al kind of knows what's going on. He's kind of been through this weird cycle that they're just starting to get used to. And so what they decide is, they're gonna go through with the plan, and which is what you guys start to do with the Easter egg when you start playing. They start gathering all the parts. They start gathering the parts for the plane. They build it, but what happens is that they get stuck in this kind of weird infinite cycle. And the cycle is where they build a plane, they get on the roof, the plane shoots off, and instead of being able to escape, they end up crashing on the Golden Gate Bridge. And then what happens is they again, you know, they crash on the Golden Gate Bridge, they go back to the electric chairs, and they end up killing themselves. They go back, and they're back on the island again, and they build the plane again, they go back again. So what ends up happening, if you guys know the story behind Shangri-La, it's kind of like the same thing. There were two characters in Shangri-La that were stuck in an infinite loop, where they were never able to escape. So this is kind of like the same thing that's going on. They build the plane, they try to get off, boom, they crash back to the island. They try to build the plane, boom, they crash back to the island. And after a while, the three of them that killed Al, so Salvatore, Billy Handsome, and Finn, they each decide that, you know, they decide again, hey, we gotta kill Al again. We gotta kill him. And that's how the cycle keeps going. They keep killing him over and over, ending back up on the island. So at this point, you know, at the end, when you actually complete the Easter egg in Mob of the Dead, you have a choice where you're either able to kill Al or you let Al kill you. So what ends up happening is, if you kill Al, if the three of them, you know, kind of gang up on him and they kill Al, then Al, you know, you get text, the game ends, and the text says the cycle continues. But if you let Al kill the three of them, then it says the cycle is broken, which at that point, you know, there's really no information as to what happens after that. All it really says is that the game ends, and it says that the cycle is broken. So we might go somewhere else from this. It could be not at all related to zombies. It's a little strange because there is no word as to who is controlling the zombies. No one really knows who the zombies are, and, you know, when they wake up, they're all dead. So it's not really like a thing where, you know, this is real life. They are all dead, kind of like this in weird new dimension where zombies are everywhere around. I don't know what this could mean. You know, we'll find out more in future DLC, but that's the story behind Mob of the Dead. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Call of Duty Zombies story. If you did, slap a like on this video. It really helps the series out, and it helps the video get out there for more people to watch who maybe don't know the story. So leave your support, leave a like, leave a favorite as well. Share it if you can on Facebook and Twitter. And also, if you guys are new and you're enjoying the content I am bringing out, go ahead and feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/OGXrays. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. We'll see you guys in part 8 once the next DLC comes out. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm Extras. I'm out. Peace. Hey, what's up guys, it's X-Rays, and really quickly I wanted to mention this is part 8 of the Zombies Storyline. I want to thank MW3Stream for allowing me to post this on their channel. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Remember to check out my channel for more zombie content as well as more parts to this story. So anyways, hope you guys enjoy this, and let's jump straight into the story. It's been a while since I did part 7. I know you guys have been doing non-stop questions and comments on all of my videos saying when's part 8 gonna come out, and so finally it's here for you guys. Anyways guys, if you guys missed any of the first 7 parts, I would recommend you guys go check it out. A link to that will be down in the description. All you have to do is click on it, it'll take you to the playlist. You can go watch any episode that you might have missed, or maybe you just want a refresher before you jump into this one. You can do that as well. Go ahead and go through them and then come over here. This is a very long and very confusing story. So if you guys missed any of it, you might be out of the loop and might be like, what the hell's going on? So go check them out, come back when you guys are refreshed and ready to go, and then we can start and you guys can start listening to this one. So without any further ado guys, let's jump straight into what exactly happens in Buried. Alright guys, so Buried throws a lot of information at us. Starting off straight with when you start, we learn a lot about the characters. First of all, the characters do return: Marlton, Misty, Russman, and Stuhlinger. They all return in this map, so we don't see the return of the characters from Mob of the Dead, seeing as that was more of a side story than an actual part of the main story. So one of the first things that we do learn about Buried is the fact that it actually takes place after Die Rise. And it shows off in the quick cutscene that they went from town to Die Rise and then ended up in Buried. So Buried is actually the continuation. There is no kind of time loop. There is a certain time loop going on in the actual storyline, but we'll get more into that into a little bit. But the actual events take place after Die Rise, so there is no going back in time to the past or going forward. It's all pretty much consistent and linear with the storyline. So anyways, we learn a little bit more about Russman. As we all know, Russman is an older gentleman. He's a little on the crazy side, and a lot of people thought he was like homeless or a hobo or, you know, some kind of weird character. But then we learn in the beginning of the cinematic for Buried that Russman was actually an agent for a corporation known as Broken Arrow. I did some research on Broken Arrow and found out that Broken Arrow is a term that is used for an accidental nuclear fallout. So if you guys don't know what an accidental nuclear fallout is, it's kind of like if you go to like a nuclear plant and it has a meltdown and it blows up and there's radiation everywhere. And so the reason that it's referred to as Broken Arrow is because of the fact that they want the world to know that this was not intentional, this was not a nuclear strike, this was not a nuclear attack on anyone, it was simply an accidental leak of radiation or something. So it's kind of interesting that they used the company name that Russman worked for as Broken Arrow. We also learned that Russman is having a lot of issues with his memory. He does not know what's going on. He forgets what he's saying or where he's at mid-sentence, which is really strange. It looks like he might even have Alzheimer or some sort of disease that causes him to forget where he is and who he is. They actually mention and they tell him, you know, your name is Russman. He's like, is that my first name or second name? And he's not really sure who he is. It's really kind of disturbing. We also learned that the 4 characters met up in the town. As it turns out, Russman was driving the bus that we see along with Stuhlinger, Samuel, and they meet up in the town, and that's where they basically join up and kind of become this crew that they start fighting off. Another thing that we learned throughout the gameplay, you know, as you're playing Buried, there was always a theory going around that Stuhlinger was eating zombies, and it's the reason that he could communicate with Richtofen. So as you're playing Buried, you can also hear quotes of Samuel saying, you know, stuff to zombies like, you smell a whole lot better when you're heated and stuff like that, basically alluding to the fact that he did indeed eat zombies, and it's the reason that he's able to communicate with Richtofen, since the zombies are directly getting, you know, basically the power from Richtofen. Anyways guys, so there's a few other things that I want to cover about Buried before we continue on as to what exactly happens in continuation with the storyline with Dr. Maxis and Richtofen. And there's a few little bit of information that we learn about in Buried. So first of all, there is this weird ghost that's at this mansion, and although there is no official storyline for what exactly happened, it can be assumed that she was a grieving widow, and she passed away, or she died after her husband died, possibly shortly after the events of her husband dying. So what happens is, if someone dies, well, they have something, any kind of attachment to this world, then they end up becoming a ghost. So that's the whole, you know, theory behind ghosts and stuff. Oh, they have some kind of attachment that they have left behind, and that's the reason that they can't move on to, you know, the afterlife or whatever you want to call it. So we have this crazy widow. She goes around and she takes the money of the players. Whenever you go into the house, she bumps into you, she takes the money, and obviously from the clothes you can see that she is a grieving widow. And on top of that, there's a couple of little, you know, Easter egg things that you can do that kind of show you the fact that she also was a piano player. Another person that we meet in Buried is the giant, or the big guy as they refer to him. There's no official name. There is also no official storyline as to how the big guy got there in the beginning, or how it happened in the first place. All we do know is that the big guy is scared of zombies, you know, unless he's drinking booze or eating candy. Then he is generally afraid, and kind of, he's the one who actually locked himself into the cell. This is kind of funny. When we first start playing the map, it feels like maybe he was locked in by someone and they ended up turning into a zombie. But in all actuality, he is so scared of the zombies that he actually locks himself into the actual jail cell so that they can't reach him. So there is no official kind of storyline as to how he got there, or if he has any kind of tie to the actual story. But it's, you know, he's an interesting character, not something that you're probably going to see in the future, but, you know, he's something that popped up, and I thought that maybe you guys might want to learn a little bit about. We do learn, though, that Buried takes place in Africa. You can see them walking through the desert, you can see them by the pyramids, and we learn that they're trying to get to the Rift. And for you guys that don't know what the Rift is, I'm going to talk about it really quickly. The Rift is the crack in the earth that happens. As we all know, Maxis released the rockets that hit the earth, and it completely shattered it apart. There's a lot of theories going around, you know, like on Moon Area 51, is it on Earth? You know, there's a lot of different theories. But the point is that the Earth was cracked into multiple pieces, and there's these rifts that kind of get to the center of the Earth, and it's, you know, everything's really broken apart. So they end up going to the Rift because the communication to finish up the 3 towers, you know, depending on if you're doing the Richtofen side of the story or Maxis side of the story, then you know that you have to come to this area to finish generating power to the last tower in order to either Richtofen to have complete control, or for Maxis to try to gain control back. Something that's really interesting about Buried, and kind of continues this tradition of kind of time warping and time travel within the Zombies storyline, is the fact that you are able to use a equipment called the time bomb. As you can see it on screen right now. It's being used to go back in time, and what it allows you to do is you place it down like a C4, and it allows you to go back in time to that point. Zombies are still there, and you basically reset. You have the guns you had before, you lose any perks that you gained after you drop down the bomb, and it kind of creates this little tiny loop, or this kind of infinite loop that you can create. This is kind of like a nod towards Shangri-La and Mob of the Dead. You know, basically all of these maps kind of make this reference to the fact that, you know, time is ever changing. You're able to change the loop. You're kind of able to go back in time and try again, or, you know, try different tactics out. So it's this huge kind of thing that's going on in Zombies right now, where time loops and time travel is a huge key thing. So you see it in Buried with the time bomb, you see it in Mob of the Dead, where you go to the bridge, you run out of fuel, you go back to the bridge, and then the only way to end it is to actually kill Weasel, which is by completing the Easter egg. And again, same thing with Shangri-La and even Die Rise, where, you know, you see it in the opening cutscene where they die and then Richtofen brings them back. So it looks like time travel is a huge part, and I would not be surprised if we see it again, maybe in the next game or the game after. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Zombies storyline. This is a really, really long story. Buried had a ton of information that needed to be covered, so I'm going to actually be breaking this apart into 2 different episodes. Part 8 and Part 9. I hope you guys enjoyed Part 8. In the next part, we're going to cover what happens if you follow Max's side of the story, and what happens when you follow Richtofen. So there's a really interesting stuff that goes on there. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Zombies storyline. Remember, if you did enjoy, to slap a like and a favorite on here, as well as leave a comment and go check out the other episodes if you haven't seen them already. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am already hard at work on episode 9, so you might see this a lot sooner. Possibly in a week we'll see the next episode, episode 9, which is, I know, the one that you guys are all super excited for, because it kind of branches off the story into 2 different linear worlds. Again, you know how I mentioned that time is a huge thing. you know, time is a stream, and you're able to break off from the main timeline and kind of branch off into its own reality. And it's basically what we're going to be seeing in the next part, episode 9. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys next time. If you guys are new to my channel and you guys want to subscribe, you guys can. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/OGXrays. Go stop by my channel and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am X-Rays. I'm out. Peace. Yo, what's up guys, it's X-Rays. Just want to really quickly mention that I want to thank MW3Stream for allowing me to upload this to their channel. This is part 9 of the Zombies Storyline, so stay tuned and enjoy this episode. If you guys want to check out more episodes to this storyline, as well as check out some of my other zombie content, you guys can do so by checking out the link down in the description, and I'll see you guys over on my channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this part, so let's jump straight into it. In the last episode we covered all of the side characters, all the characters that were in their theories about what was going on with them, and just some detailed breakdowns on that, as well as how the crew got to the actual map Buried. Before I jump into the Maxis and Richtofen part of the Easter egg that I know a lot of you guys want to know about, and you guys kept mentioning it in part 8, but before we jump into the Richtofen part and the Maxis side of the story, I want to quickly mention, if you guys have not seen parts 1 through 8, I would highly recommend that you guys check those out. This is a long and really confusing story. Believe me, every time I post an episode, there's always someone who leaves a comment and says, I really wish I could understand this story, but there's so much going on. So I would always recommend that before you watch this episode, you go back, watch episodes 1 through 8. They're really interesting, really entertaining. You guys are going to be glued to them. Believe me, I'm going to say it right now, if you guys start watching it 1 through 8, you're gonna get really stuck with them. So go watch episodes 1 through 8, come back and then watch this one so you really know how they got here, the old crew, this new crew that came around, you know, every single little tidbit of information you guys could ever want is going to be back on those episodes, and then we can jump into this one, just because it's a really long, confusing story, and you guys might be like, wait, what? How did they go from moon to here, or, you know, etc., vice versa. So I would highly recommend that you guys do that. I want to really quickly mention, a lot of people are confused as to where the location of Buried is. It actually does take place in Africa. If you guys don't believe me, the name itself, Resolution 1295, and then it says Buried. Resolution 1295 was a resolution that was signed in Angola. It's in Africa, and it is where Buried takes place. It takes place on either the edge of Angola or on the, you know, somewhere near it. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm just going to say I'm pronouncing it right. I don't really care. It's just a location. But it does take place in Africa. As for why the actual town is underground, why a lot of people seem to think that it's in California, remember that when Maxis shot the rockets to the Earth, it kind of destroyed the Earth. It broke around plates, so, you know, the continental shifting was moving around. Think about it as when Pangea was first forming, all the plates were everywhere, and then they come together and move around. So what ended up happening is this little town ended up shifting under Africa, which is why you're seeing it underground. So now that I got that little tidbit out of the way, a lot of you guys were asking, why is it in Africa if it looks like it's in California, or, you know, there's all these different theories about the ghost and all this kind of stuff. No, Buried actually takes place in Africa. It's a little town that was shifted underground because of the shifting of the plate, which is another kind of really cool theory you guys are going to see in the next episode of Zombie Theories. So we're going to continue on now into the story. Here's one of the cool things about Buried. A lot of people weren't expecting there to be a lot of story involvement. They thought that it would be in DLC 4, seeing as how it's going to be the final DLC. But we actually get an idea of what happens. In this DLC, we get so much information, it's crazy. So Marlton, Misty, Russman, and Sam continue, and they give power to the actual tower. Now the thing that we learn as well through these different procedures is that Maxis and Richtofen are both trying to gain power from the zombies. As we all know, Maxis mentions that the zombies have a energy that is needed in order to power orbs. These orbs that you see throughout the map, they turn into this kind of weird wisp, and the wisp is used to power the actual machine that sends the power up to the tower that's at the surface. Once the power actually reaches the surface, we hear a really awesome kind of dialect between Maxis and Richtofen. Now, depending on which side of the Easter egg you completed, we're going to have two different branching paths. This is the first time actually that we're actually seeing the actual branching of either following Maxis or following Richtofen. I'm going to play the audio clips for you guys to hear what exactly happens in the Maxis side, and then we'll go over to the Richtofen side. So I'm going to play the clip for you guys to hear what happens when the power goes completely and Maxis is able to gain control of the zombies, or gain complete control. So I'm going to play the clip now for you guys to hear.
The process has begun. Now I control the ether's energy. I can at last reach Agatha. Ah, you fools! Why did you listen to him? Regretfully, I must inform you that neither the Earth nor its people will survive. Ah, I tried so hard to warn you. Of course! Once the gateway is open, I will finally be reunited with my dearest Samantha.
Hello? Are you forgetting something? Even if your wretched daughter is still alive, she has my body!
If you are so eager to re-enter the physical world, Richtofen, I will grant you that wish!
So from this audio clip, we actually get a lot of information. We learn what happens. Maxis gets complete control, and there's also a few little things in there that I'm going to mention in the next episode of the zombie theories, especially the part where Dr. Maxis says, you know, finally he can reach Agartha, which is something I'm going to talk about in the next episode of zombie theories. But the thing that we learn from here is that Maxis gets complete control. Now, whenever you start playing and you complete the Easter egg, you're going to notice that the zombies' eyes start turning orange. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it turns yellow because, you know, Samantha is the one who was in control before, you know, they're related by blood, so obviously the eyes are going to be the color yellow. No, the eyes are actually the color orange. That's the color that the zombies get. So what we get from here is that Maxis kind of screws us over, and, you know, he says, you know, I regretfully inform you that, you know, all the Earth and its people will not survive. Basically saying that the Earth is going to get blown up, or that, you know, maybe, you know, some kind of huge catastrophic event to the level of the rockets hitting the Earth is also going to happen. So basically what happens, you complete this side of the Easter egg and Maxis gains complete control. He also has a dialogue with Richtofen, and he tells him, you know, if you want to go back to the Earth so badly, then I'll send you there. And what ends up happening is, as you're playing through the gameplay, you're going to notice that, you know, all the zombies have orange eyes, and then there's going to be one zombie that has blue eyes, and when you get near the zombie, you can hear him saying quotes, you know, saying, you know, damn, you know, Maxis, you know, I hate Maxis, why can't I ever win? So it turns out that Maxis is going to be a regular, you know, just kind of weird zombie, and he's complaining about the smell he has and everything. So it looks like if you do complete the Maxis side of the Easter egg, it's really, you know, choosing between the two of them, which is the lesser of two evils, or in this case, you get to pick your poison. The whole point of Maxis trying to gain control was trying to save his daughter, and while it does seem like a noble cause, and it's something, you know, it's like, oh, you know, he's trying to save his daughter, it also kind of screws over the Earth and all of the inhabitants and everyone, you know, from him trying to save one person, which is kind of messed up. But, you know, I guess if any of us had a daughter or anything like that, we would do whatever it takes to try to save her. So anyways, that was the Maxis side of the Easter egg. We're going to jump into the Richtofen side. If you guys complete the Easter egg and power the orbs and make sure that Richtofen gets the power, then we get a completely different dialogue, and something really pretty cool happens after the whole dialogue event. So I'm going to let that play now, and I'll be back to tell you guys a little bit my 2 cents on what is going on.
Finally, I am in control! The ether is mine to manipulate as I wish. The moon is now my own personal plaything!
What have you done?
I've won, Maxis! That's what I've done!
Oh, what about Samantha? Your actions condemn my daughter's very soul to eternal damnation. Even if you do not care for her, surely you wish to return to your own body.
Not really, no. Won't I already possess the power to leave this netherworld and re-enter the physical realm once more? I can choose anybody I will. As for you, Maxis, you will simply cease to be. I'll be the guy. Toodles. Take a deep breath, Samuel. We're about to get a whole lot closer. Last I am... Oh, what's the matter? Corporeal? No. Physical. Whatever. I have my very own body.
Alright guys, so after you can tell, after the dialogue that Richtofen has with Maxis, it's pretty much the same thing. Before this, if you guys remember, the storyline part where I talk about Moon, the reason that Richtofen didn't have complete control at the moment was because Maxis had shot rockets to the Earth, which made his connection to zombies and being able to have full control more unstable. So after you're able to connect these 3 towers and help out Richtofen, he actually ends up getting complete control and has the power to kind of leave this ether world that he's at and, enter the physical world, get his own body, whichever one that he wants, and he ends up destroying Dr. Maxis. So you hear him, he's like, you will just cease to exist, and then you hear, Dr. Maxis have this kind of scream or whatever, and he talks about how he condemned his daughter, and his daughter is dead now too. And what the really super interesting part after this, he actually ends up going into Stullinger's body. Again, another one of those theories, and it was kind of confirmed in this map that Stullinger, or Samuel, was eating zombies and was kind of turning into a zombie, which was what made Dr. Richtofen have an easier transition into going into his body. So, he ends up going into Samuel's body, and he kind of starts trying to control it, and he's having some trouble, and he realizes that Samuel is still in there. And he kind of just, says, you know what, I'm going to let you guys kind of take care of this for a while. I'll just kind of, take the back seat here and not do anything. But it's kind of interesting. Does this mean that we're finally going to have the old crew coming back? We can only find out in the, next DLC by the Zombies team. And, another really interesting thing is that when you're playing and this whole event happens, if you look at Stullinger's, his eyes start turning blue. They have that blue glow to them that the zombies have because, again, Richtofen is inhabiting the body now. So this was a really cool addition to the actual Zombies storyline. We see finally a transition as to what happens. You either follow Maxis and he gets complete control, he's trying to save his daughter, but at the same time he screws over the Earth, or you can go with Richtofen, who apparently won't destroy the Earth because he actually inhabits the body now, but he's kind of like this weird, crazy old kind of person who's trying to get complete control and do whatever weird thing he's trying to do. So I guess we're going to find out in the next DLC. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Zombies Storyline. If you guys did, remember to slap a like on this video and a favorite. Try to get it out there for other people to check out. And yeah, tell me what you guys think of the story so far. Tell me what your favorite characters or maps or wonder weapon is. Anything that you enjoy from Zombies. And I'll see you guys next time. Part 10 hopefully will be out once the next DLC is out, which will probably be a while. Who knows? But until then, we'll see zombie theories and my behind the horror. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Until next time, this is the sad thing, I can only do so many episodes before we gotta wait for next DLCs. Anyways guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Call of Duty Zombie Storyline. If you guys did, remember to slap a like and a favorite on this video. And if you guys want to see some of the best zombie content out there, so you guys can check me out, a link will be down in the description, so definitely go check me out. Once again, thanks to MW3 Stream for the upload, and I will see you guys next time. I'm X-Rays, I'm out. Peace.